Welcome to part 3 of the antihistaminic agents. So today we are discussing about the second generation antihistaminic agents. So why there is a need to develop second generation antihistaminic agent? Because of whatever the first generation antihistaminic agents are there, which are having a higher sedative property as well as the binding affinity of some non-target receptor. So these two are the main reason behind the development of the second generation antihistamine agents. So this kind of second generation antihistamine having a lower sedation potential, which is higher in case of the first generation antihistamine, where sedative property is more, as well as the reduced binding affinity for non-target protein, including the muscarinic, adrenergic, as well as the serotonergic receptors. Okay, so these two are the main advantage associated with the second generation antihistamine agents: lower sedations potentials, as well as the reduced binding affinity with some other non-target protein like muscarinic receptor, adrenergic receptor, as well as the serotonergic receptors. So basically, there are two drugs were developed first. First is estimazole and second is a terfenadine. So which is a derivative of first generation agent with substantially larger and tertiary amine substituent. So why it is called larger and tertiary amine substituent? If you look at the structure of the estimazole as well as the terfenadine. So here, whenever you observing the nitrogens, so this is a tertiary nitrogens of piperidine ring. So substituent is a larger. Okay. Same way in case of here, piperidine ring nitrogen. So you can observe that it's a very larger substituent. So that is structural characteristic observed in second generation antihistaminic agents. So that's why estimazole and terfenadine proved to be non-sedative and target receptor selective, but extensive clinical use uncovered the serious cardiovascular toxicity of this drug. So cardiac effect were observed in second generation antihistaminic agents like estimazole and terfenadine when administered with the drug that inhibit the cytochrome metabolism, such as antifungal agents, imidazole derivative like ketoconazole and itraconazole, and some macrolide derivative like erythromycins and clarithromycins. Through these drug interaction, estimazole and terfenadine level would rise, and due to that, there will be increase the cardiac event. Okay, so that will produce the cardiac toxicity. So one can avoid the co-administer with antifungal agents like ketoconazole and itraconazole and macrolide like erythromycin and clarithromycin. A patient is taking the estimazole as well as the terfenadine. As a result of these concerns, both the drug estimazole and terfenadine have withdrawn from the US markets, and the first generation drug containing the larger uh, polar functionality connected either the terminal tertiary amines or as a substituent of the one aromatic ring. These are the features of the first generation antihistaminic agents. Next drug is crivestins. It is a basically alkene acid derivative of piprolidine. Another is a cetirizine and levocetirizine. So it is nothing but oxidative metabolite of hydroxyzine. So that you have to remember for competitive examinations. So what is cetirizine? So it is a hydrolytic metabolite, sorry, oxidative metabolite of hydroxyzine drugs. Next is a desloratadine. It is oxidative as well as the hydrolytic metabolite of loratadine drugs. It is again important for competitive examination. Next is a fexofenadine, which is an oxidative metabolite of terfenadine. So these three are the very important aspect for the various competitive examinations: cetirizine and levocetirizine, which is oxidative metabolite of hydroxyzine; desloratadine, that is oxidative and hydrolytic metabolite of loratadine; and fexofenadine, which is an oxidative metabolite of terfenadine. Let us understand the structure of the fexofenadine, which is considered as an oxidative metabolite of terfenadine. So student, this is a structure of the fexofenadine. and this is the structure of the terphenadine. So if you look at the structure, so biphenyl ring are there in both the structure. This tertiary alcohol group is there, piperidine ring is there, and this butanol group, phenyl butanol group is there, and this is called tert butyl group. So if you look at the difference in the structures, so in fexofenadine where this carboxylic acid group is there, so and in terphenadine it is a methyl group. So methyl group, oxidation of methyl group that leads to produce carboxylic acid. That's why fexofenadine it is called oxidative metabolite of terphenadine, where this methyl group is oxidized to carboxylic acid and that gives the structure of the fexofenadine. So by these way fexofenadine structure is obtained. So again I am repeating, fexofenadine it is a oxidative metabolite of terphenadine, and in structure of the tert butyl where methyl group is there which is oxidized to carboxylic acid. So that gives the structure of fexofenadine. Next is a desloratadine. It is a nothing but oxidative and hydrolysis metabolite of loratadine. So if you look at the structure of the loratadine, so where this group is called carbamate group, and here there is a chlorine at third positions. So when these group or hydrolysis of this group that gives the NH, which is gives a structure of the desloratadine. So what you have to remember, desloratadine is a oxidations and hydrolysis metabolite of loratadine. Next comes to cetirizine and levocetirizine, very important drugs, and which is a oxidative or oxidation metabolite of hydroxyzine. So if you look at the structure of the hydroxyzine, in structure of hydroxyzine, here there is a alcoholic OH is there. So once this alcoholic OH is oxidized, so that is converted into the carboxylic acid, and ultimately that gives a structure of the cetirizine. Now let us discuss the drug in detail. So first is a fexofenadine and terphenadine. So terphenadine is a selective long acting, that means its action is 12 hours. H1 antihistamine with little affinity for muscarinic, serotogenic as well as the adrenergic receptor, and this histamine receptor affinity of this compound is believed to be presence of the diphenyl methyl piperidine ring. Okay, so this is called dimethyl piperidine ring. So whatever the affinity with histamine receptor is due to the diphenyl piperidine ring, and the prolonged action result from a very slow dissociation of the drug from these receptor, and due to lack of anticholinergic, adrenergic and serotonergic actions appear to be linked and linked to presence of the n-phenyl butanol substituent. That means this n-phenyl butanol substituent, so as this substituent present in fexofenadine as well as the terphenadine drug, so this second generation antihistamine having a lack of anticholinergic, adrenergic as well as the serotonergic actions, which is likely to be appear in H1 receptor, or we can say first generation antihistaminic agent. So you have to remember that which groups are responsible for lack of anticholinergic, adrenergic as well as the serotonergic actions. So this is called N-phenyl butanol group. So N-phenyl butanol group present in both the structures, and due to that it is a lack of these other receptor activities. And this diphenyl methyl piperidine, that means is a group which is responsible for the H1 receptor binding affinity. Now, in fexofenadine, no sedation and other CNS effect have been reported for these drugs, and in animal studies, it indicates that fexofenadine doesn't cross the BBB blood-brain barrier, and in vitro studies also suggest that unlike terphenadine, fexofenadine doesn't block the potassium channel in cardiocyte. Hence, no any cardiac toxicity observed with the fexofenadine, which is observed with terphenadine. So terphenadine having a more cardiotoxicity compared to fexofenadine, and no prolongations of the QT interval as well as the relative heart rhythm abnormalities were detected when fexofenadine can administer concurrently with erythromycin as well as the ketoconazole. So no any cardiac toxicity as well as the heart rhythm abnormality observed with fexofenadine while it is observed with terfenadine, and it is basically used in treatment of the seasonal allergic rhinitis as well as the chronic idiopathic urticaria. So these two are the main use of the fexofenadine. And again I am repeating, fexofenadine is nothing but oxidative metabolite of terfenadine, and compared to terfenadine, fexofenadine is a safest drug as it doesn't having a cardiac toxicity. Next is loratadine. So if you compare the structure of the loratadine, so it having a structural similarity with azatidine, dibenzocyclohaptan derivatives. So if you look at the structure of the azatidine, so everything is similar, only there is a change at this carbamate group, and third position there is a chlorine that gives the structure of the loratadine, and this is the oxidation as well as the hydrolytic product of the loratadine that is called desloratadine, where this whole ester group is removed. Okay. So loratadine is a structurally related to antihistaminic drug azatidine as well as the cyproheptadine. Okay, and some tricyclic antidepressant. So in exam questions like loratadine and desloratadine, which having a structurally similarity with which drug? So azatidine, cyproheptadine, as well as some tricyclic antidepressant drug like immunostilbene derivatives, and differ from azatidine in neutral carbamate group. So this whole group is neutral carbamate group, and it has replaced basic tertiary amino moiety, and phenyl ring has been substituted with the chlorine atom. So as I discussed here, there is a chlorine atom. So these two are the structural features difference between azatidine and loratadine. It having a more anti-serotonergic effect, and loratadine is indicated for the relief of the nasal as well as the non-nasal symptoms of seasonal allergic rhinitis. So this loratidine's oxidation metabolite readily undergoes O-demethylations and decarboxylation to form des-carboxyethoxy metabolite that is called des-loratadine. Okay. So what happen in structure of the loratadine? So first is O-demethylations and then decarboxylation. That means first this ethoxy group is removed and then removal of the COO, that means CO2 group. So removal of this ethoxy group is called O-demethylations, and removal of the CO2 group that is called decarboxylation, that form dash carboethoxy metabolite. So dash meaning of dash is removal, carbo that means CO2 group, and OCH2CH3 that means a ethoxy group. So removal of the CH2CH3O CO group that is called dash carboethoxy metabolite, and which is nothing but desloratadine, and concurrent administration of the loratadine with drugs like ketoconazole, macrolide antibiotic like erythromycins, cimetidine that is H2 receptor antagonist substantially increase the plasma level of the loratadine. Now, this is the structures of the desloratadine as we discussed, and it is proposed to be active metabolite of loratadine, and it has a very similar receptor binding and safety profile. And desloratadine extensively metabolite to 3-hydroxy desloratadine. So, what is metabolite of desloratadine? So, 3-hydroxy desloratadine, which is a active metabolite of loratadine, desloratadine, and which is subsequently glucuronidated. So this is a metabolite pathway for the desloratadine. Next drug is a cetirizine. So you know that cetirizine is a oxidative product of the hydroxyzine. So that you have to remember for exam point of view. It's a primary acid metabolite of hydroxyzine resulting from complete oxidation of the primary alcohol group to this carboxylic acid group. So these compounds, cetirizine, basically available in zwitter ionic form, relatively polar, and as you know that polar molecule doesn't penetrate or accumulate in CNS. So advantage of these compound appear to be a long actions. So daily one tablet is sufficient, one dosing is sufficient, rapid onset of activity and minimal CNS side effect. So these three are the main advantage of the cetirizines. And drug that has been associated with dose related somnolence, it is a major adverse effect associated with the cetirizine, dose related somnolence. So patients should be advised that cetirizine may interfere with your performance of certain jobs related activities, and other effect of the drug include the fatigue, dry mouth, pharyngitis, dizziness. These all are the other effect associated with the cetirizine. No cardiac toxicity effects such like Q2 interval prolongations are observed with cetirizine, so hence it is considered as a safe drug. But one should avoid the use of the alcohol and other CNS depressant agent when patient is taking this cetirizine drug. And it is temporary, it is indicated for the temporary relief of the runny nose, sneezing, itching of the nose and throat, itchy watery eyes caused by the hay fever and other upper respiratory allergy. So these all are the indication where cetirizines are used. Now in cetirizine, levocetirizine dihydrochloride, so levo form of the cetirizine which is a more potent. This is called R enantiomer of cetirizine, which is considered as a levo form, which is 30-fold more affinity to H1 receptor compared to S enantiomer. So what we have to remember, R isomer of the cetirizine, which is called levo form, which is 30 times or 30-fold higher affinity than S enantiomers, and it dissociates more slowly from the H1 receptor, and pharmacologically it displays the same receptors and CNS selectivity profile as the racemate cetirizines. So levoisomer, that is more potent, more binding affinity compared to uh, dextroisomers, and R enantiomer, that is called levo form. Next is the inhibition of the histamine release as well as the mast cell stabilizer drugs. So for that, discovery of the bronchodilating activity of the natural product halin. So this is the structure of the halin, which is considered as a natural product, and it is obtained from the plant Emi visnaga and lead to development of the bis-chromone moiety. Okay, so Alin was the compound obtained from the natural drugs, and due to that, this bromelain sodium, or we can say bis-chromone compound, have been developed that stabilize the mast cell as well as the inhibit the release of histamines and other inflammatory mediator. And first therapeutically significant member of this class was cromolyn sodium. Sorry. So cromolyn sodium was the first drug in this class which is considered as a mast cell stabilizer, which is inhibit the histamine release, and further research targeting the more effective agent resulting into the introduction of the nadocromyl. This is the second drug, and followed by most recently Mirola's and lodoxantride. So these two are the drugs which are recently approved, and this mast cell stabilizer inhibit activation of the various inflammatory mediator release from various inflammatory cell types associated with allergy as well as the asthma, including eosinophils, neutrophils, macrophages, mast cell, monocytes, as well as the platelets. Okay, so what this mast cell stabilizer do, that inhibits the activation of the various inflammatory mediators which is released from the various inflammatory cell types. In addition to histamine, these drugs are also inhibit the release of the certain leukotrienes like C4, D4, A4, and various prostaglandins. So these all are the mast cell stabilizers, and nebulize and aerosol cromolyn. So this is the structure of the cromolyn where coumarin moiety is there. So this is called coumarin ring. has been used for prophylactic management of the bronchial asthma as well as the exercise induced bronchospasm. So cromolyn nasal solution, it is used for the prevention and treatment of allergic rhinitis, and oral concentrate is used to treat histaminic symptom of the mastocytosis, which is called diarrhea, flushing, headache, vomiting, urticaria, abdominal pain, nausea, and itching. These all are the symptom of the histaminic symptom of mastocytosis. So, which is used for the treatment of this symptom. And topical cromolyn sodium eye drops is used to allergic conjunctivitis as well as the keratitis. And in treatment of the asthma, cromolyn efficacy is manifested by decreasing the severity of the clinical symptoms. So basically it is used in asthma. So nadochromyl disodium it is used. So here we end with these sessions. So it is a very important cromolyn sodium, nadochromyl. So these are the drugs which are used as a mast cell stabilizer. Thank you.